Can I build a self-sustaining base inside the core of a planet? I guess we're about to find out. But first, I need a way to get the building materials down there. So I built a rail line that goes all the way into Glacio's core. I'll use my base on the surface to craft all the modules that I need to get the core base started. And then I can easily bring them all the way down with the train. Now that I've got everything down here, I can finally get rid of this train. I'm not gonna connect this base to the top because I want it to be fully independent, so I'll just take these from down here. Wow, there's really no gravity. I'll just grab these rails and I'll throw them down like that. I should have everything here to start a self-sustaining base, and then I can use that base to build something awesome. But first I need to get started, so I'm gonna start with the basics. And I think I want to line up some platforms around here. But then I want a section of the base to go up this spiral. Not all the way up, but just a little ways. I think that would look pretty cool. I have no idea what this base will look like, but if you've seen it in the thumbnail, you already know more than me. And I may have brought a little bit too many materials here, but that's okay. If I don't use everything, then I'll just leave them in storage here. So I guess this should be the main area of the base. Now I can start unpacking the basic stuff that I'm gonna need in here. And then I'll need one more platform here. This is gonna be the printing section. I'm gonna have all 3 printers in the same place. So here we go. Great, I'll place all the storages after. But now I can start unpacking all of this. And there it goes. This should be the basics of any base. And now I can get started with the more advanced stuff in here. By the way, I don't know if you noticed, but I can even turn on my portable oxygenator. If you're on the core, you are getting power and oxygen, but only in your backpack, so the base still needs power. And that's why I have some RTGs here, but I can always just craft even more power. I've got some scrap here that I'm gonna use to get the base started and craft what I need, but then I'm gonna have some pretty cool farms that are gonna take care of all of that themselves. So the next step is to unpack all of the medium storages. And there we go, these should be all of them for now. So at least in this part of the base we've got all the storage we need. I'll probably need to craft some more for the other parts. But speaking of the other parts, let's move on to some bigger stuff like the shredder. So I'll grab one of these big platforms and I'm gonna use this for power. And in between I'll also need some storage, so I'm gonna have these small platforms here. Or is one of them enough? Just to bridge this gap, because I can't place the large one here, it goes into the ground. So I'm gonna use that platform to store all of these, and then the big one will be full of RTGs. Just listen to that, that's satisfying. Okay, now we officially have power in the base, so that's a great step forward. Now let me get this to the side there. And I need some gases for the chemistry lab. I brought one of each, so that should be good enough for now. I also have an atmospheric condenser, but I can only get argon with it since I'm on Glacio. I'll grab another storage and place it right there. And I should have enough power for everything I want, or at least I hope I do. So let's get the shredder out here, and this is gonna need the big platform. Okay, now I have a way to also get more scrap if I need it. And I'll place this right next to the trade platform. Great. Now what I actually want to do, since I'm in the core, I'm so close to all that astronium out here. So I want to build an astronium farm first, but then I want to do something special with it afterwards. So to start an astronium farm, I need to find my large printer. There it is. So I'm gonna need some auto extractors, definitely. I'll need rubber, tungsten carbide, and steel. So of course I'll need to trade for all of that. So I'll go for the steel first. That means I need hematite. I'm gonna get 4 of it, and then I can use the smelter to get all of that. That's why I placed the trade platform so close to the smelter, because I'm gonna be using those quite a bit. Let's get some soil in here as well. And there we go. I'm gonna need some basic resources like resin, and then I can even craft more platforms to use for storage, because I still need to place these large storages on something. So I need at least 4 more platforms. My hematite just came back, so it's as easy as that. I can place it there, and now I'll need some wolframite as well. So here we go. I'll also need some organic, because I need carbon to craft all of that. And then I can grab the resin and start crafting platforms. Nice, I got all that iron smelted, and now I also have wolframite. What do I need next? I think I want some aluminum. I'm definitely gonna need that. I will need that to get some rails in here. because of course I'm gonna use trains to build the Astronium farm. I might be close to the Astronium, but I'm not that close that I can use only auto arms. So I still need to get those trains in. And I can place all the laterite in the smelter just like that. I might need more storage a little bit closer to me here. So I might want to expand this way. But I got another platform up here, so I'm gonna place that. So I'll unpack this all over this side. Okay, so that's great. I basically have all the storage I need in here, and I can place this on top. So let's see, I've got tungsten, I've got carbon. I think I can craft the tungsten carbide now in the chemistry lab, so there we go. I've got my tungsten carbide. I think 2 auto extractors should be enough, so I'm gonna get 2 of each. And then for the steel, I'll need argon, which I have right here. There we go. I'm gonna need the iron, and then I think I need carbon as well. I'm gonna set that on repeat, getting 2 steel. And then all I need is rubber, which should be pretty easy. I'm just gonna steal some organic from there. And then I need 2 exo chips. I already like the layout of this base a lot. This is very easy to use and intuitive. So I can get rubber as well, and that should be it. I'm basically gonna get 2 auto extractors fairly quick in here. Then let's see what's next. I need a train. So I need a rail engine. For that I'll need copper too, and then rail cars. So let's get some malachite in here. I'll get 8 of it because I'll probably need it for something else anyway. But my rubber is done, so I can start crafting the auto extractors. And while I'm getting the copper, I can start crafting a rail car using resin and aluminum. There we go. I think I want the train to go up this spiral, so it would be in here. And I'll probably find some astronium up here. I see some over there, but it's pretty far away. I would prefer it if it was right here. So I'm gonna search for it up here a bit, and if I don't find anything, I'm gonna go to that node that I saw earlier. I got my malachite right here, so let's turn it into copper, and then I can start the train up. I didn't find any astronium up there, so I'm gonna go to the sides. I found an astronium node on the ceiling on the side here and another one to the right. So I'm just gonna go to the one that's closest. But first I'll need some rails for that. So I'm gonna get some rail post bundles. For that I'm gonna need resin and aluminum. And I should have all of that. I think 4 bundles should be enough. And I'll get the copper in here as well. I can get the rail engine too. And let me just get 1 more bundle in there. But that's great, so I've got all of these. And I've got the auto extractors. So let's unpack the train here. And I can start the rail maybe on the back side. And there we go. This is gonna be the start of the rail. And I think that works. Now I can get the train up there, the rail engine and the rail car. And I can grab the first auto extractor in the back. But of course that also needs power, so I need to connect it through this, and just like that. So the train goes on there. So going up here I need to decide which astronium deposit I'm going for, but I think the one on this side is bigger, so I'm gonna head over there if I can find it again. I know I saw it here somewhere. There's another smaller one up there, but there was one on the side. Yeah, so this one, that's much bigger. So I'm gonna go that way. And now this is a weird position because I would sort of need it to go on the ceiling, but it can't really do that because I wouldn't be able to place everything. So I would need some soil going around. Oh, I'm falling. Yeah, so this needs to be on the side there. So something like that should work. Okay, now I can stay on it. Okay, so I'll head down, get those soil canisters, and I'll build the rail all the way into the astronium, and I'll get you back in here when I place the auto extractors. Great, so I got all the way here, and I brought both auto extractors. This is how the rail goes. It actually connects this spiral to the other one that's next to the base. But I can start unpacking these auto extractors, and I can place them on there. And I also brought some auto arms and platforms. Whoa, I glitched that through the ceiling. That's not good. Oh, that's a full auto extractor. That's some nice stuff right there. Okay, so these are set here. Let me turn it around. Okay, there we go. And the other one, I maybe can get it a little bit closer. Yeah, I'll have to connect everything to power before they can start getting astronium. So I'm gonna do that through the auto arms. And I hope 2 of them will be enough. I brought 4 just in case. But here we go. This should reach in there. So we'll see if that actually reaches. And then this one should reach in here. So let's get it into position and see if these reach in there. Not quite, but that's okay. That's a quick fix. I can just move this a little bit and now it should be all right. If I connect this to power, I should be able to start these up as well. And does this reach? It doesn't. I got it. All I needed to do was to lift it up a little bit there and it still reaches. So I turn them on, and these should get Astronium. I can turn on the auto arms as well, and we'll see if they can actually grab it. And then they should be able to place it on there. I'm gonna have a large storage with medium storages on it, but for now I just wanna see if this actually works. Okay, so that's pretty interesting. This auto arm reached into both of them. So maybe I should move this again in here. And I'm gonna place some Astronium in the selector slots of these. Now I'm taking the train back down to get the storage and the sensor in there. And then everything should be good. I just need an unloading station down at the bottom. And then we're gonna get Astronium. But it's no use if you can't do anything with it. So I'm gonna get a trade platform that's only going to be used for Astronium. And then I'm gonna automate it, of course, because why not? I need an exochip, iron, and tungsten. Okay, so I'm gonna need some more tungsten. I've got the iron and the exochip, but I need some wolframite. Oh, and I finally have the resin as well, so there goes the medium storage. I just need a sensor, and I think that's zinc. So I will need sphalerite as well. Here's my wolframite, and now I can get the sphalerite as well, which I'm gonna turn into zinc. And I also have an empty medium resource canister now. I can use that for whatever I need. And I can start unpacking all the storage on here, so this will be able to get 32 Astronium at once with 4 medium storages. And I can start my trade platform as well. I also went ahead and filled all of the canisters, so I have more soil. So there it goes. I actually need a quartz as well. I completely forgot about that. But I think I saw a quartz node up here, if I can get to it. Yeah, there's one right there, and I don't know if I have enough soil to go all that way, but maybe I can get it from the other side. Well, I reached into a graphite node. That's not really what I wanted. I think I finally found it here, so there we go. I'm actually gonna grab a couple. I'm gonna get rid of the graphite. And there we go. I've got some quartz now. I'll actually jump all the way down with another one. I shouldn't take any fall damage because of the low gravity. Now I can start crafting the storage sensor. And I have all this extra quartz in here. So I'm gonna link this to the car, and this should be set to full or empty. So now all I need to do is send the rail car, and that should start doing stuff. I'm actually gonna go check on it in just a second, but now I need to build the offloading platform for the Astronium. So I'm gonna have 2 auto arms here. There we go. These are both gonna have Astronium in the selector slot because I don't want them to grab the storage sensor, because that will make the whole thing stop, which is obviously not good. So these should reach in there when it gets here and unload everything. And I can place it on a platform here that will then grab it and put it in the trade platform. And that's gonna be the automated setup. I'm also going to need some sensors for this and more auto arms. And this will be the platform for the storage. I'll also grab some auto arms and platforms. Then I will have another auto arm, which I don't know if it will reach on the sides as well, but this is slanted to a side, so maybe this will reach to the whole thing. But if it doesn't, that's not an issue. I'll just have some extra Astronium on the side, and that's okay. Then I just need an empty platform in here and another auto arm at the end. And then I will need another storage sensor and a count repeater, and that should be it. Pretty easy. And then I can also have some storage for the stuff that comes off of the trade platform. For this I actually want 2 auto arms. So I'm gonna have 2 of them on this side to unload the trade platform. This should make sure the platform gets unloaded before it gets sent again. Before I do that, I wanted to check on this, and it seems that everything's alright. Both of the auto arms reach in there, and this is getting filled. I think it's almost half done. So when it's all done, it should trigger the storage sensor because it's gonna be full. And then this will come all the way down into the base, where it will get unloaded and sent into the trade platform. I still haven't turned that part on because I don't have Astronium for the selector slots. Now, apart from an automated Astronium trade platform where I can get all of these materials, I also want to get an automated scrap trade platform for which I'm gonna need a scrap farm. I could build a completely separate scrap farm, but I think it would be more interesting if I shredded the stuff that I get from the Astronium. I can get the solid fuel jump jets with the Astronium, and when I want something for the Astronium, I'll just have it in the storage here and I can take it, do whatever whatever I want with it. But when I want scrap, I'm gonna have a separate set of auto arms here that I can just turn on, and that will bring me all the solid fuel jump jets that I'm creating with the Astronium, and it will shred it. For that I can use this big shredder here, but I'm gonna have to find some extenders. I think those are copper, right? Yeah, so I can get extenders and remove this platform here. So there we go, we've got power in there, and this farm should be on the far side of this, and my base actually goes around the core. Yeah, I'm pretty close to linking it up on the other side. That's pretty cool. I'm actually gonna go off camera to craft all of those, and I'm gonna get back to you when the Astronium comes and I can turn this thing on.
One eternity later.
I've got more platforms set up over there, and I'm gonna show you in a second, but now I need to craft 2 power switches because I want to be able to turn on and off different sections of the automation here. And I've got all the Astronium here because the rail car came back with it, so I can start placing this in the selector slots of the auto arms, and they can start unloading it here so that the train can go back up and get more Astronium in the meantime. Now let's unpack everything. And the base actually wraps all around the core, and I connected it on the other side. So here's the beginning where we started, and this is the end of the automation. I think I heard the train go back up. Yeah, so all the Astronium has been unloaded here, and I'm just one step away from getting these automated trade platforms going. Right now I'm gonna turn off the power for this whole section so I can just focus on Astronium. And I'm gonna need a count repeater and a storage sensor, and I'm gonna get 2 of each because I've got 2 trade platforms. So here we have the count repeaters. These are actually crafting pretty fast. And then I'm gonna need some storage sensors as well. And I've got all the materials for those. See, I knew I got more quartz than I needed back then. So this is how it's gonna work. I'm gonna have a storage sensor on here, on the side, and then a count repeater down here. This is gonna be connected to both auto arms. This has to have an Astronium in the beginning. Anyways, I'm gonna get this in here, and then this can connect to the trade platform. As a starter, let's try getting some exochips. So 3 Astronium gets you 1 exochip. That means I'm gonna set this to 6, because I can send 6 Astronium at a time and get 2 exochips. And because the sensor is set to full or empty, it will send the signal once it's full and once it's empty. So for every storage that gets filled, that means 2 Astronium, this is gonna count 2 times, 1 for full and 1 for empty. And that's how we know how much Astronium is in here. When this reaches 6, it will send the trade platform. And when it comes back, I can unload it with these 2, but I won't turn them on right now. Actually, I think I have some extra exochips, so I can place them in the selector slot. That's the thing with this farm, you actually have to change the items in the selector slots of those, because otherwise they could just pick up the Astronium and this will get sent with nothing in it. All I need to do is turn this auto arm on, and once this reaches 2, this will get turned off, and this one gets turned on because the sensor is connected to both of them. And once it gets empty, this will turn this one on again, and then the other way around. This sent with only 3 Astronium, so a quick mistake I made there. This auto arm actually needs to have 1 when it starts, not this one. So yeah, make sure to have a thing in this when it starts, or you're just gonna get less when you first start it. But that's no problem, I'll just place this Astronium back here, and that's alright. Now I'm gonna wait for this to come back with the exochips, and it should unload in there. And here it is. It's only got 1 exochip, but we've got it in storage. And now this should actually start working correctly. This should send with 6 Astronium now. And this time it actually sent correctly, so that's how this works. Now I'll stop it after this try, because I want to get other stuff, like the solid fuel jump jets. But you saw this was actually pretty easy to do. So now I'll turn this off, this on, and I'm gonna take these from here. And then you can reset the count repeater to whatever number you want, depending on what kind of resource you are getting with the trade platform. So if you're getting something that requires 8 Astronium, you would just set this to 8, and it's pretty easy that way. Now this is reset, so I just need to turn the power back on, but I turned it off so I can change this. I actually want to get solid fuel jump jets. So for this, 1 Astronium gets 2 of those. That means I'm gonna need 4 Astronium at a time. So I'll set this to 4. Now it should send once it has 4 Astronium, and it's gonna get me solid fuel jump jets. That means I'll need to get the exochips out of here, turn these off, and I'll need solid fuel jump jets in the selector slots of these auto arms, otherwise it won't work. So I'll have these on here, and they should start unloading already. Yeah, so I've got 2 in the selector slots and 6 on here. Now I can actually place these in the selector slots of these auto arms, turn them on, And when I turn on this section, it should start shredding them. Now, let's just assume this section is off. Actually, I made a mistake here because I connected on the other end. So there we go. Now we are just collecting scrap. So if we want to just get the scrap in here, I would have this and that would get all the scrap. But for now, I'll get it to disable output. And I don't like the fact that an auto arm reaches into the storage there. They should all go and get scrapped. And because we are not collecting the scrap, this is going in here. As I said, whenever we want to get scrap and not trade it for anything, I can just turn on these things and they will keep the scrap in there. But for now, I don't want that. I want scrap to get filled in this section here. And this, as you can see, keeps getting me all of these jump jets, which get turned into scrap. I'm almost running out of Astronium, but the train should come back pretty soon. Now I can start this other section. I need scrap in the selector slots of the auto arms and an extra one right there. And then I'm gonna do the exact same setup on here with a storage sensor and a count repeater. And let's say I want to get a ton of Titanite. I need 2 scrap for 1 Titanite, so I could fill 8 in there, setting the count repeater to 8. And then at the beginning, this should be on, like that. Now it's stopped because I don't have enough power. So I'll just do this for now. So you can see it going here. It's the same thing. The sensor is set to full or empty. So this actually counts how many scrap is in here. And when I get some Titanite, I'll place it in the selector slots of these. Again, if you change the item, you have to change the selector slots of these auto arms as well. Right now, I just want to see this thing in action. And I want to check if the train actually came back with any Astronium. Not yet. So that might take a little bit longer. But in the meantime, I am getting all the scrap that I need for this other trade platform. And I really like the design with the power switches, because you can just get Astronium if you want, or you can trade Astronium for something that you need, or you can get it into jump jets, then you can shred into scrap, you can hold your scrap if you need, or you can automatically trade it into something. So it's very versatile, you can do everything. And now we are sending 8 scrap, so this works correctly, and it should come back with Titanite that I'm gonna place in here and hold in this storage. And the trade platform came back. I can just do this, and there we go. I think they both reach in there, yeah. So everything gets stored in there. Now this is a fully self-sufficient base. I can get all of the items in the game basically, except for the ones that require fault finders. But I can also craft fault finders and do them manually, so there's that. You can actually not automate them because you have to do the minigame. But apart from the fault finders, I can get all of the items in the game automatically. So this is a fully self-sufficient base made in the core of Glacio. So I can cross that off my bucket list. I have to say, this was a ton of fun building a core base. If you want to see more cool builds like this one, as well as new updates and events in Astroneer, make sure to hit that subscribe button. And I'll see you next time. Cheers, Astroneers!